Ag AM in Kansas is brought to you in part by SureCrop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Welcome back. My name is Ignacio Ciampiti. I'm in Cropping System Crop Production Specialist at Kansas State University, Department of Agronomy. And I would like to continue with you just talking about seeding rates, nutrients, and water, and how these factors are affecting corn production. When you are deciding about row spacing, and the question that I have most of the times is about, can we narrow rows? Can we use 15 inches rather than 30 inches? The answer to that question always is depends. And I have at least two questions that I would like to follow up with that point. It's like, first one is, what is your yield potential? And when I'm talking about yield potential, what I would like to ask to the farmers is, what is your maximum yield level? Are you working a 200 bushel scenario? Are you working a 250 bushel scenario? Or are you working, I'm trying to get only 150 or 100 bushels? And why I would like to ask that is just because we have information showing that maximizing corn yields, getting 200 and 250 bushel, in that case, early light interception, narrow rows, is really impacting corn production. In the situations that we are going into 150 or less than 150 bushels per acre, in those situations, narrowing rows is really not affecting that much the corn yield and productivity. That's one of the main things. And again, everything depends on the uniformity. If you are going to a narrow row spacing, make sure that you have a good planter, that you can just make sure that we have equal distance, good uniformity, and the plants are coming all at the same time. Another big point for next coming year, seeing the price of corn, will be the plant population. How many seeds per acre? And in that case, one of the only points that I would like to touch base is on optimizing seeding rate. We are not talking anymore about trying to push seeding rate really high, but we are trying to talk about the idea of optimizing. When is the moment that you are getting your most net profits and benefits from using an optimum seed population? And we have studies around the area showing that around 32,000 and 34,000 seeds per acre in these situations here in northeast Kansas, when we are trying to increase productivity, tend to be optimum. And we are talking about probably yields of 200 and 250 bushels. So make sure that when you are working in different scenarios, in different yield levels, make sure that you are working in an optimal population and you are not really being paying in excess of a seed cost, which in fact will probably not provide more yields. Then the last factors that I would like to emphasize are on the nutrient management. Always remember, increasing yields is really connected to increasing nutrient uptake. So every time that we are trying to move forward yields, we need to make sure that we are applying more fertilizer. Okay? Every time that you are trying to produce a 250 bushel corn, make sure that you are trying to provide a similar equal amount of fertilizer in the form of nitrogen, and if needed, depending on the soil test, phosphorus and sulfur. Okay? Last point, so when we are talking about the water use, we need to always remember that corn is specifically very sensitive around the flowering time. So when you're trying to maximize yield, we're always thinking how we can place pollination and flowering time in corn in a really good environment. And that's very critical. So corn and water use is maximized at that specific moment. And it's the moment that the corn needs water and is at the maximum and the peak. So the question that we always have is how we can place pollination in a much better environment. And the answer for that is like, take a look to the last 5 years and try to investigate and do a little bit of research on your field. What was the planting dates and what was the situation in the last 5 years in terms of rain, precipitation around, the month of June, July, and August. That's the main recommendation when we are thinking about the water use. And those are some of the main limiting factors that I will be talking on the corn schools. And basically, again, the message that I would like to try to convey is like, make sure when we are trying to play in high yielding systems that you are taking care of not only just one factor, but taking care of a series of factors just for increasing crop productivity. Thank you.
Tar Waters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. and a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tarwater Farm and Home, family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need.